I wanted preparing a nice bread bun without much effort since I don't have a mixer. And then I thought about something. Why don't I use my blender to start the groundwork so it gets easier for me? Let's see how that turned out. First, I'm going to activate my yeast using sugar and lukewarm water, and then I'm going to let it rest for a few minutes. Then into my blender, I added in my milk, my flour, my activated yeast, oil, and then a little bit of butter. I wanted this loaf to be moist and fluffy, so I chose to go in with lots of oil within the measurements for the flour I'm using, and then a tiny drop of butter just for the flavor that it brings to the bread. I went in with salt, of course. While I was doing that, my yeast was busy activating on the side because I mixed it first before gathering my ingredients. It came out very foamy on top, which means my yeast is very active and ready to use. So I turned it into the blender and then I started blending, and it started getting together. It didn't blend as smooth as a mixer would have mixed this, but it did a good job. It helped me with the groundwork. So after I checked, it was coming together, so I just made it easier, closed it, blended a little bit, and prepared my work surface. The dough had not yet come together perfectly, but it was mixed. All I needed to do was to knead for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to be good to go. So I kneaded and put in some pressure, and to be honest, I enjoyed trying out this blender because now I know that the blender might not be able to mix my dough 100%, but it sure definitely did make the groundwork easy for me because it felt soft in my palm already, and it was just fun to knead than starting all over from the scratch using my own hands. When the dough was soft and it all came together, I decided to cut it and form it into my bread bun shape. I cut into 2 equal parts, then divided into 3 because I was targeting 6 roughly equal bread bun. Before now, shaping this bun used to be the most challenging thing for me to do, but after practice, I guess practice makes perfect, actually works. It felt easier and more fun to do, and then just like that, I formed my bread bun shape and then put it into my pan. I didn't do the usual double proofing method that allowed the entire dough to rest first, then form into shapes, then give it some more time before egg washing and sending it into the oven. What I did is directly forming my shape, putting it into the pan. I allowed it to rest for 50 minutes. It didn't really come up because the weather is cold, but that didn't stop me. I went ahead to do my egg wash. I used 1 egg for this and a little bit of milk because I don't know, I just really wanted it to come out nice. And then I went ahead, egg washed my bread bun. When it was few minutes for my timer to go off, I already started preheating my oven so that as soon as I send the bread into it, it starts baking immediately. After egg washing, I sent into the oven and then I observed it closely. Overall, I baked on mid-low heat for about 40 minutes because I kept changing the temperature. I started with high and then I went to mid and then I went to low, and I just kept changing the temperature of the oven so my bread doesn't get burnt before baking evenly. And after 45 minutes, this is the result I got. It didn't look as beautiful as I thought it would, but it was something I could work with and it was something I could eat. It wasn't as fluffy as I expected, but it was still yummy.